Hey guys, Shane here. Before we get started today, I want to ask you a quick favor. Please hit that subscribe button and give this podcast episode a share on social media so that we can help more families start, build, and grow a membership of their own. We appreciate that so much. Thank you for listening today. And now on to the podcast.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. On today's podcast, we help Flip Your Life community member Tim Madison turn his web development skills into an online membership. Tim is just starting out, but he's already built a website and he's starting to create courses for his future members. However, he's a little unclear of who he's going to serve. On today's show, Shane helps Tim answer some important questions that anyone can ask when starting an online business. He helps Tim find a great domain name for his membership site and teaches him how to start a successful YouTube channel. This is an amazing call, and we know it will help you take your next steps towards your online dream. Enjoy the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again this week. Super excited to talk to another member, a real life member of the Flip Your Life community so that I can help them take their online dream to the next level. I am excited to welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast today, Tim Madison. Tim, what is happening, man?
Hey, a whole lot, but very grateful to be here, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I am pumped to talk to you today about online business and membership. So before we get started, tell everybody who is listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast today a little bit about you, a little bit about your background, and what you are trying to build online.
Sure. I'm 54 years old, and I'm currently working as a full-time web developer. I've been doing it for a little over 10 years. Before that, I actually used to be a chef. And
I didn't see you going there, Tim.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you know, I'm programming, doing webs, and food. That's where I went from.
Yeah, I used to, I did that for a number of years, and I ended up with a lot of back issues and stuff like that. And after a couple of back surgeries, it was, I couldn't do that anymore. So I actually went back to college, got a few different IT degrees, and been working as a web developer for about 10 years. So that's my background and my career. And when I decided, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to do something. I've tried freelance web development. I've tried, maybe making mobile applications, and those things weren't quite panning out the way I liked. And then I ran across you guys, and it made sense for me to think about doing something online because I live online anyways. That's where I'm a web developer. So it made sense for me to do something of that nature. And I came up with actually coming up with a site where I can teach people. Now there's other sites that do this, but of course, one of the things that you talk about yourself is that what I can offer that a lot of these other sites aren't is actually personalization, being able to have that forum where we are in constant contact with the community and being able to come up with some live broadcasts where I can maybe teach them something new or give them Q&As and stuff like that. So that's something that others aren't doing in that field.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of automation and take my course and get away from me kind of deal in that space,
Exactly. It really
is. So in your day job, like right now, first of all, hold on. Let's back up here. What kind of food did you cook? Like you were a chef. Like what kind of restaurant are you in?
I cooked a number of different things, but I've worked mostly at mid-sized supper clubs.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it's I've done a variety of foods. I even worked at a Cajun supper
club. Do you sit and geek out over Food Network and like watch Chopped and like all these shows? Like that's Jocelyn's addiction. Like that's her secret addiction is Chopped. She loves that show.
I do not. It's funny because I've really completely immersed myself in my new career over the last 10 years. So
it's just microwave all the way now. Just forget it. I'm not cooking. I'm never cooking again. I'm
exactly.
Done. All machines. That's how I'm living my life. Right. All right. So what do you freelance web developer or do you work for a company?
I work for a company. I've done freelance web development, but I work for a company. It's ironic because this company that I work for, which is actually a really great company, they are great people. I have a fantastic boss. They take care of their employees. It's actually one of the reasons that really spurred me forward and really wanting to do my own online business. And the reason I say that is because my previous job was for a company that went out of business, went bankrupt. And I mean, this is a company I've been in business for 50 years and was a big retail, $1 billion retail corporation. And they went out of business, and I was miserable in my job there. I was miserable in that corporate environment. And I got this new job about 5 weeks after that ended. And what made me realize that I want to do my own business even more is the fact that I love working where I'm at. I love the people. I love my boss, but I still don't want to do it for other people anymore.
I get it. Yeah. You're building somebody else's dream.
Exactly.
Even if you're in a dream job, it's still somebody else's dream, right?
Yes.
And what's scary is like, man, who's to say it's going to be the same boss? Who's to say they're not going to sell the company? What if 3 or 4 people leave and 3 or 4 people come in and the culture changes?
Or this whole thing with COVID right now. I mean,
yes.
Certain jobs are becoming, replaceable or that they don't need them because, they have to consolidate down or, as far as who they have for employees, they're furloughing certain employees. And it's like, so when does your position become one that gets furloughed, So.
Yeah, it's amazing you bring that up because I've had this discussion with quite a few people, both in my circles of people that I talk to every day, like my friends in the business and in the industry, and also just our members. And it's incredible the awakening that's happening. I'm not one to say I told you so, y'all, but I've been speaking the truth here for about 10 years, right? And, I've had jobs in the past that were like untouchable, like literally bulletproof. Like I was a tenured school teacher. You're untouchable unless you hurt someone, right? Like until you break the law, you're done. And like even that, like I worked at a school district where the schools consolidated and it erased tenure. And like my job disappeared, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and now people are really seeing like these things everybody preaches recession proof and this and that and the other. The only thing that's recession proof is you rolling up your sleeves and taking care of you, like going out and dragging it back to the cave every single day. And I remember when the COVID stuff really broke out, number one, as schools were starting to close and there was rumors, oh man, there's rumors in our state next fall, they're going to furlough a bunch of teachers. Wow. Right. And, all these things are happening. I remember looking over at Jocelyn when it first started, they started closing everything down. And I just said, we're not going quietly into the night. Like we're going to grow and we're going to prosper. And regardless of how the world is on fire, we're going to run through the fire. And, and Flipped Lifestyle, which is well positioned in this kind of environment to help people become and stay self-employed, we grew. But even my education company, I just looked at the landscape and I said, hey, maybe people don't want lesson plans because they're not in the classroom, but they still have to teach, and maybe they're uploading them into Google Classroom and other things. So I started making some adjustments and said, hey, teachers, we are loosening our license and I'm in control and I'm changing this to where you can use these in Google Classroom now and all this stuff. And we're going to be here to support you as you learn how to teach at home. So we just pivoted. And like when you have your own business, you get to make that call. You don't have to worry about somebody else making the right or wrong call, right? And, that's why even now we're like, guys, side hustle, have multiple streams of income. At least do that. Start a membership, get 50 people to give you $25 a month just so you got mortgage and food and you're warm, dry, and fed.
At the very bare minimum, it's supplemental income.
Yep. Exactly. Right. So the world's coming around to my strange world of philosophies here, Tim. I'm feeling it. Everybody's starting to listen a little bit better now.
Well, it's because it makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's because Mike Tyson said everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the mouth. The earth got an uppercut about 2020, early 2020, and everyone's kind of shaking the stars out now and going, okay, how do I get 50 people to give me $50 a month? We need to figure this out. And then I'll keep my job, but I got both and everything's okay, right?
And with the other craziness that's going on right now in the world, and especially in the United States, it's one of these things you can look at and say, okay, my online business can't get looted. Okay, to the degree as far as
that's right. That's exactly right. Unless they're breaking into the server farm, we're all going to be okay. You know what I mean? Right. Yes. Exactly. I totally agree with you. It's funny how resilient the online world has been through this. Like I'm in a mastermind with some other guys. To a man, they've all grown. Jocelyn's in a mastermind with some ladies, and to a woman, they have grown, right? And I'm sure there are we're all disrupted. I'm not going to say that everything's all pie in the sky. We've had to work for it.
Sure.
But we've had control. And that's really what freedom is. That's what online business gives you. Is it gives you the freedom to start a business that doesn't have massive overhead. So you're not going to get crushed if property values go down or rent or there's something happening politically in the environment that's going to shut down your storefront. It can't happen, right? You have control to pivot and move. I've seen some online business owners that I know, their thing did dry up a little bit and they just completely shifted. One of my best friends teaches speakers how to be better speakers and how to get gigs at live events. There hasn't been a live event in 6 months in this country. And so he had to meet with his team and say, okay, one, someday there'll be live events again, so it's okay. But two, what are we going to do for the next year? And they had to come up with new programs and new plans, and they went overdrive, recorded. They had 2 of their best months ever after they created that new product line. Now they've got 2 areas of expertise. Just talking to a buddy of mine this morning, Tim, he's a football coach. There ain't going to be no football this fall. It's not going to happen. No football. But he's like, so what did we do? We said, hey, what will your avatar be doing? Right? Let's create a new course. Let's talk about that with them, and let's create something new for them. There's always an answer when you have an online business, right? Especially when you have a membership, because those people ain't going to quit on you.
I agree. As long as you can pivot to offer them something of value, they're not going to go anywhere. Yeah.
That's right. So let me ask you this. Okay, so this is a great transition here. What are you going to offer then? What is your value proposition going to be? Like now, right now, you're just getting started, correct? You don't have a real big audience or email list or anything.
I don't have
built.
any email list whatsoever. I'm still building the site, and unlike probably most, if not all, of your current members, I'm not using WordPress or even Kajabi. As a web developer, I'm building everything from scratch because I want to be in a position to the people that I'm teaching to be able to tell them that I can teach them anything that they see on my site or in the membership area.
100%. Yeah, that's fine. That's your superpower.
So that's taking more time. Obviously, I've built a custom membership area. I've built a custom forum. They're working great. Now I'm basically recording the lessons, which are going to be extensive because I'm teaching them HTML, CSS, the basics, foundation blocks to start out with, and then going on to JavaScript and some other things. And my plan right now is when I get this ready and I launch this and I'm ready to, be full blown going. My future of this is not just to continue kind of like making little courses and stuff like that. My future is actually to, once I've given them the basic, is to come out with master classes and to say, okay, now I'm going to teach you how to use these same skills and create a mobile application, and stuff like that. And so I kind of and get them into a little bit more advanced applications of what I'm teaching them. So
okay. All right, so I get the basically the genre. The genre is what most people come up with first, right? Like my Flipped Lifestyles genre is business opportunity, right? USHistoryTeachers.com, my education website, or elementarylibrarian.com, the first website we ever had, is education. That's the genre, right? We're lesson plans. That's what we're doing, right? But what I'm not hearing, I feel like you're really wide right now. Like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do apps, and I'm going to do Java, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make up my own coding language, and we'll just invent a computer, right? Like, I
wish I could do that.
I know, right? Like, but I'm hearing they got Python. I'm going with boa constrictor. That's what I'm doing with, right? All right, so that's what I hear, which is fine. A lot of people do that. You got to throw mud on the wall before you see what sticks. All right, now, but there's 3 really important questions I think we've got to stop and ask right now, because if we can answer these questions, we'll probably definitely figure out a next step, or at least the first step. Okay, you're not going to have a problem building this thing tech wise. That's great. That's one problem we don't have to have.
It's already built, actually.
It's already built. So we're good. All right. So the first thing we have to identify, and anybody just starting out, right, that's wrestling with an idea, is you have to answer this question: what do you want? Okay, like, what do you actually want this to be? I don't think you know what you want this to be. You know all the things that you can do, but like, what do you want? That's the first question I ask everybody. Do you want this to be a mobile app place? What do you want this to be? Do you want this to be, we build websites? What do you want this community to look like? And what do you want to talk about every day? We're going to have to narrow this down a little bit.
Yeah, it's something I didn't mention before, but it is, I know it sounds kind of wide-based. It's really not, because a good example is I'm actually building a mobile application for my current job, but I'm doing it with web development technology. So the same thing that I teach somebody to learn how to put a website up, I can use that same knowledge that I teach them to advance them further and build a mobile app. So that's kind of like further down the road. What I want is to be able to teach individuals not only how to learn how to put up websites and not just shamble ones. I want to be able to teach them the correct way to do this, but also I think my biggest thing is that there's a lot of sites out there that teach people HTML, both free and paid. Okay, teach them HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the things that you need to be able to build a website, but they don't take you that step further. Like, here's your skills, go out there and get a job. My site, I mean, it's going to teach them, but a really huge core about it is going to be, here's how you get a job with this knowledge.
Okay. So you're even going to show them maybe how to write applications.
I'm going to show them how to
apply for a job or whatever.
How to correctly structure your resume to get attention based on where you're applying at versus the corporate world or whatever, stuff like that. So
all right. So what we've done here is we've experimented with some words back and forth, right? And now we need to turn this "what you want" into a "so that" statement. It's really important. Like, this is on. Literally, if you go to Flip Lifestyle right now, you're going to read our "so that" statement, right? So what you really want is to help new programmers get a job. That's what you really want. You want to go that next level. You want to teach them how to do coding correctly and cleanly and be talented and be good at what they do. But you also I want to show you how to turn this into a life
so that they can get employment or whatever.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So your statement is, I'm Tim. I help people use web tools for web development so that they can get a good job, right? That's the basics of it. Now, you can flesh that out and make it sexier, of course, right?
No, I like that.
But that's your "so that" statement. Now, everybody needs a "so that" statement. If you don't know your "so that" statement, like my "so that" statement is, hi, we're Shane and Jocelyn. We help people identify and use their God-given talents and experiences so that they can create online income and build a better future for their family. It's right on the front page of everything we do, right?
The elevator speech.
That's it, right? It's your elevator pitch. But framing it in, what do I want? What do I really want? That's really the better question. And then turning that into a "so that" statement, which is basically, the first part is what you're doing, the thing you teach. The second part is the result that you're giving to your people, right? All right, so we know that now. So my second most important question we can ever ask in the whole world of the universe when you're starting an online business. So who is this person you serve? Like, what's the avatar? Like, what's the demographic? Like, are these young web developers coming out of a joke college program that think they can code, but really all they can do is WordPress? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like what, who is this you're looking for? Is it second career people? Like, who do you want to serve with this "so that" statement?
That's a good question. I mean, I had thought about this, maybe not so drilled down, but I thought about, I want to teach anybody who wants to learn web development. But in essence, I think that probably most of the people that might come to me are probably people who are going to be, this isn't their first job and they're looking for something, especially like we talked about, they're looking for something recession proof. They're looking for something that they can do. I mean, that's the nice thing about what I do for a living. If my current job decided to furlough me, I've got the skills and the background that I could do whatever I do from home online for any company in the world if I wanted to.
Exactly. And you could at least go freelance if you had to, if you couldn't find a job with a company, a good company.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I want to be able to empower others to do.
I gotcha. Okay. So what we have to do is get clear on this. And now, have you taken the Avatar course yet inside the Flip Your Life Blueprint?
I believe I have, but I've been a member for about 9 months or so. I've probably been doing a lot of work lately on my site. Now it's much work.
You've been bouncing around. Let's be realistic here. That's what you've been doing. You do the opposite of what I told everybody. Hey, don't watch all the courses and then bounce around. Watch them in order, right? Well, right. We're going to rewind to the Avatar course, all right?
Sure.
Because no people, doesn't matter how good your website looks like. Doesn't matter. Nobody's in there. Doesn't matter. All right. It's like if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? If nobody joins your membership, do you make any money? No, you don't. All right. So what we got to figure out, we got to narrow that down. I'm not saying we got to narrow it down right this second, but that question is going to be critical because it's going to guide everything you do from this moment on. And every decision you make in your business is going to be about that that subset of people that you're really trying to offer. Like we have an idea in our head exactly who we like to serve. We have a range, and it guides everything from what course we're going to make next to what ads we're going to show. Like we know that our people are over 30. They're somewhere usually between that 30 and 60-year-old range. Maybe they are somewhere between school-age children and empty nesters. Like we don't even think about, and God bless y'all, I'm not trying to, if you want to keep listening, I'm here for you, I promise. But like people with newborns and stuff, like that's a different, or if you're like 25 and you just had your first baby and you're like 6 months old, again, if you're listening, appreciate you, glad you're here. But like that's not really who we think about when we're thinking about our programs. Because when we think about our courses, we got to think about, well, this person's going to work every day. They got school-age kids. Maybe they got a babysitter. Like we're thinking of different things with those people. Maybe they're empty nesters and they're coming back to circle around. Maybe they got teenagers and they're about to leave high school, so they're thinking about legacy and better. We think about our avatar, right? 30 to 60. School-age kids or above. If you got really, really, really super adult kids, probably not. Maybe if you got one kid left in the house, kind of deal, that's cool. But like we're thinking about these things. Is retirement coming up? Are you trying to make a shift in your life? You have to have that person well defined, or you can't make calls like that, right? So if you just say everybody, that's like that could be a 17-year-old who learned how to code on YouTube, who's looking to hack somebody, all the way up to someone who's just learning HTML for the first time at, 70. I don't know what they're doing, but like we've got to narrow that down is basically what I'm saying. So I'm thinking, I got some ideas for this if you want to hear them.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So one thing that's interesting here is failed freelancers, which happens way more often than you think it does, right?
Can't believe it.
Yeah, man, because freelancers, like there's a different skill in freelancers. People try freelancing, but they don't feel comfortable self-promoting or talking about themselves or
doing cold calls or doing
cold calls.
Things you need to do in order to get the customers. Yeah,
and it's not difficult. It is. It's hard, and it's not that you don't have the hustle; it's you don't have the skill set, right? Most people can code 80 hours a week. They've got the hustle, they just don't have the skill set, right? So they go and they go back to the job. So that could be an interesting place to explore, because what you're looking for is people who have already made the decision to become a better coder so that they can go to an employer or a company and get a job, right? They're looking, it's not the person who's a really good coder out there freelancing necessarily. It's the person looking at jobs who are hiring people, right? Because they want to get that job with their coding skills. And that's what you're talking about here, making them gainfully employed. So that could be a good thing. What you don't want to get into, and this is another decision-making point, you don't want to get into convincing people that they need to learn code because they can get a good job, because that's bad. Like you don't ever want to educate people about the industry. You want people who probably already know how to code, but don't know it well enough to get a job with it, right? So that creates a boundary on one side of our avatar and starts defining who that is. Now we can say, well, who is that person? Well, maybe it's the person that got out of college, was a coder, tried some freelance. Maybe they're 28, 29, 30. Maybe they couldn't get a coding job, so they ended up, selling insurance or something, and they really love code and they wish they were coding, but they had to take something else to pay for the bills, right? And like now you're getting into this picture of who this person is starting to form. So what other ideas of this person do you have? Like what does your imagination run with when you think about this person who would join your membership?
Well, I think the biggest thing that is a little off from what you're talking about is that I'm not necessarily sure I'm looking for someone who already knows how to code. But I want to give them I want to teach them how to code, but I want to give them that added, what they're not getting with anybody else. I want to give them I want to teach them how to get a job when they do learn how to code from me.
So maybe this is like there's a program in the Eastern Kentucky mountains called like coal miners to coding or something like that. Right? It's someone who's decided to learn how to code to give themselves a better opportunity, but and now they find you, and you're going to take them from A to Z, from code to job, basically, right? And like so we go back a little bit from now. So we found someone who we don't have to convince to learn to code, which is important.
Correct.
But they're searching for things now that we've defined that avatar, we can go look in the search results on Google AdWords and Google keywords or some tool. And now we can be like, well, what would that person search for? And if we can find a person who has made the decision to pursue what we do and they're actively searching for it, we can target them with ads. We can grow an audience. We can build content around those things. Okay. So that's good. Mm-hmm. So now we've got the who at least a little bit better, and we'll flesh that more out in the community. But that's the second most important question. Okay. Now, if we know what we want to do and we know who we want to do it for, the next thing is really defining like the product. Like that's where we get deep into, okay, if it's that thing and if it's this person, what does the product look like now? Right. So that's what we've got to flesh out, which you're apparently just starting now because you've got the website and everything built, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So what would that product look like then?
I think the product is tiered. I think it's for someone. We'll take you for example, Shane. Let's say you decided, okay, you know what, I want to learn how to code and get a job with it. Well, basics will get you in the door. So if you learn the basics, if I teach you, the intros to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, that is going to get you a foundation where once you learn how to get a job through me, how to structure your resume and stuff, then you're going to go get a job, and they know that you're going to be a newbie. They understand that, okay? But a lot of places if you have the right attitude, are going to give you the opportunity to grow there. A lot of them want to kind of help you nurture you as it is. So then I still want to have the resources for them if they want to take it further, if they want to get more advanced in what they're doing. It's kind of like similar to what you do. You have the Flip Lifestyle, and then you have the membership masters. Okay, you're taking them, okay, here's your basics. We're going to get you started here. Okay, and this is what's going to take you to the next level. And that's kind of how I want to do things as well.
So how long would it take me? And I'm asking this as a loaded question because I learned HTML back in like 2000. You know what I mean? Well, not all the way, but enough to be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So how long would it take someone to learn HTML? You got to learn HTML before you learn CSS, before you learn Java. Is that correct? Pretty much.
Well, HTML and CSS kind of go hand in hand, but you want to learn HTML.
You got to learn HTML first. So how would it take me to learn HTML enough to be dangerous enough to maybe apply for a job? See, you're going to need CSS probably.
Yeah, you're going to need CSS. And I'm actually, my current lessons that I'm actually recording right now is intro to HTML and CSS. So I'm actually incorporating both in together because they kind of work hand in hand. So I could take something like that and probably, again, it depends on the individual. I could probably have them job ready in 90 days. Okay,
stop right there. Okay, Your product is not how to teach. Your membership, your product is not how to learn coding. I'm going to make you a job-ready web developer in 90 days. That's the program.
Okay.
And then the hook, the reason they become a forever customer is, and here's the deal. When you get your job, I'm your secret. You're going to be able to, at anything you don't know how to do, I'm still here for you. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to help you do it. There's going to be training here. You're going to, like, if you get stuck and your boss says do this and you don't know how, I'm going to come. That's going to keep on paying month after month and year after year because they're going to look like a shining star at all times, and they don't have to reveal that you're helping them at night, right? Like, they just need to figure it out. Like, they've got a place where they can talk to all of these coders. Now we've turned courses into a membership. That's magic. So this is why we evaluate the product. So yes, you've got HTML. Yes, you've got CMS. Yes, you've got the Java, but the real flavor of this product is I'm going to help you get a job, right? And I could even see you doing crazy things like this. You could, if people go through your program and they take all, you could incentivize them like this. Hey, I'm going to not only make you job ready in 90 days, but if you go through and you check all the boxes to make sure, they got to watch all the courses, right? You can track that, you know what I mean? And they fill out all the quizzes and they take it. And then at the end, you can give them an official certificate that says they went through your program. Right?
Yep, I thought about doing that too. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So now they're, whatever your website is, approved or whatever, right? But here's what else you could do. You could be a reference. If you finish the program and you go through it and you check everything, you're allowed to list Tim Madison down as a reference for coding. And and when they call you, you could be like, oh yeah, he's a good guy, really worked hard, and he went through the program and this, that, and the other, right? So like that would be an amazing thing. Like, wow, I'm going to come out of this with a freaking resume, knowing how to code, somebody who's going to help me my first on the job, whatever, plus they're going to be my reference. That's amazing. Like, you can't buy a reference anywhere, but you can at Tim Madison's membership. You can, you know what I mean? So now, because we went through the proper process of answering these 3 important questions, what do we do and what do we want? Right? That's the first question. Who will you serve? We've kind of narrowed that down a little bit. We ran those 2 questions through the lens of a product.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer just teaching people how to code. That's anywhere. I can learn that on YouTube, right? Now it's learning how to code, having support on the job, being job ready, getting a reference. I'm certified in something. Like, this is now valuable. This is now charge whatever you want for it, right? And that could be really interesting. You could even tier this like this. Your first 6 months are like $100, and then to stay in the program, they could go higher. Like, when you get to get the reference level and the job level, like, you could add a certification after the education part and make it a test worthy thing, and then after that you would give them the thing, and it's a higher tier. And because if you help somebody get a $50,000-$60,000 a year job, what are they're going to pay you $150, $200 a month to have support. So yeah, I like that. So how do you feel about that now that we ran it through that kind of lens? You know what I'm saying?
I like that. I do. I like it. I think it focuses it more. Absolutely.
Exactly. Because you're not selling. You came into this discussion going, I teach people how to code correctly. No, you don't. You help people get jobs and feed themselves and their families.
Yes.
So that's a way more valuable proposition. Okay. So now we got to figure out next steps. Okay. I don't think building any of this is going to be a problem. I don't think the courses are going to be the problem. And in fact, I think you're going to be able to figure out how to make it look like a certification and all that other stuff. The big problem to me sounds like you need to get your focus back on content. Like, how are you going to build an audience to do this? Right. So what are your thoughts on building an audience? That's probably your next step. Like, you got to get all this stuff done and built, and it's just there in a minimum viable product. How are you going to get people to follow you? Right. Like, that's what you got to figure out.
I think that's the hardest part. I think that when it comes to something like this, it's how do I make myself stand out? I mean, we talked about obviously some of those things we can do, and that's going to help. And who do I target? I mean, how do I target? So that's going to be, how do I drill this down? Do I target on Facebook, Facebook ads? Do I target on TikTok? Do I target on
Don't do TikTok. They're about to shut that down because the Chinese are apparently spying on us.
I saw that.
There might not be a TikTok. If anybody out there has really put a lot of time in TikTok lately, sorry. I apologize. Don't chase fads. That's the lesson learned in that one.
I bet you Gary V is one of them. So
Gary V. Yeah, Gary V's like, TikTok. Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell everybody a really big secret about Flipped Lifestyle and our philosophy. Like, people search on Google and check Facebook every day. I know there's a lot of cool other things that you can share your stuff on. We share it there too. But let me tell you something. People log into Facebook and Google every day. That's what they do. And that's a freight train that ain't coming off the tracks for a while. So
I think the best thing about Facebook these days compared to 10 years ago is who's on it. I mean, 10 years ago, it was your mid 20s, maybe
now it's people with money.
30s. There are all kinds of people all over the place on this, and you have people who are 60s, 70s, 80s on it, as well as younger people. So there's just about every demographic you can target now.
And they show things in other networks. That's another hidden secret. Besides, they'll show them on other sites. Like, it's the gateway into everything, really.
Mm-hmm.
So let me. I think that probably the best thing for you might be YouTube. To be honest with you,
okay.
Because it's really you're going to be doing a lot of screen sharing in this niche. Because you're showing people like how to code and what happens and things like that. You're also going to be talking to people like about hiring, and like you could create a really captivating YouTube channel that's not just another guy who's teaching coding. Like, you could talk to HR directors on what they look for in a web developer. You could talk to CEOs like us, that's something on my wish list right now for our team. Is I eventually want someone that's just in our back end on everything. Like, if it's tech, you do it, right? Like, because we are a web company. I mean, at the heart of it, we are a media company who publishes on the web. Like, I don't care if we're using Kajabi's HTML, right? I mean, that's how we work in Kajabi too. Like, but we have a WordPress website. We're not going to get rid of our WordPress website. We're going to have a WordPress website. So all that stuff is, on my wish list. So you could talk to CEOs like, what's your wish list for a web developer? Like, you can mix it up enough. All right. So what have you researched so far? Like in Google keywords. Like, I think the reason one video is going to be really important here. So you might as well start at YouTube, because then you can kind of expand from there, and you can screen capture, do interviews like we're doing right now on camera and all that stuff. You got an awesome mic. Your rig's ready. You're to go. So like, what have you searched for so far?
Because my website itself is actually titled, the domain name is creativewebsite101.com. And
not sure if that one might be right.
And so, yeah, we might have to look at a change in that based on what we've talked about here today.
So did you search for like how to code a website or how to design a website?
How to create a website is what I searched for. And there's like, I think it was like over 100,000 a month searches.
But
for
see,
that
like
phrase.
that could be the mom blogger that's just wanting to do it, not wanting to become a web developer, right? Like,
right.
Like now that we've filtered this through, like what you want to teach, who you actually are trying to serve, and the product and what that product delivers is. Like, I just searched for how to become a web developer. How to like the language is a little different. Like, if I want to become a web developer, that's what I'm going to search for. Like, I'm looking to, like, for example, like this is web development tutorial. That sounds a little more closer to what we're talking. That's 42,000 searches a month on YouTube. I'm searching. I'm using a tool right now called vidiq.com, and it only searches YouTube results for keywords, right? So now we're running. Now we can run this keyword research through a filter of, well, who am I actually trying to figure out, right? Like web design tutorial. I don't think that's who we're looking for.
No.
Front end web developer, 7,974.
That is part of a typical web developer is a front end web developer. That's the HTML and stuff like that.
7,974 times a month. For some reason, someone is typing in front end web developer. And then there's things like like HTML tutorial, maybe, but I'm not sure that's even right. It's someone who's already thinking like about a job, right? Now this might be interesting. How to learn JavaScript. That's somebody who's kind of already like getting into this. Like, if you're trying to go down that CSS, like a normal web person like me that's just going to start a random hack blog that they're messing around with. Yeah, I'm going to get some HTML. I want to be dangerous, but I'm not going to open that CSS editor. I'm scared of it, right? But someone who wants an actual job doing this, they're going to start going down that CSS, HTML, JavaScript rabbit hole. So like that's the kind of things we're looking for here. Now we've found the person who's probably like, how to become a programmer. That's interesting. That might be some web development people. How to become a web programmer. You know what I'm saying?
Web programmer. Yep.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript tutorial, 34,925 times a month.
And those are your three basic foundations you need.
But here's the deal. This is being searched. That was one search. Like, that was an actual keyword typed into Google 34,925 times, or YouTube, I mean. HTML, CSS, JavaScript tutorial, all one word. Like, I'm not looking for that if I'm just like, well, I want to learn how to change the color on my blog. Like, that's correct. So what we're looking. Well, I got one for you. You ready for this?
Sure.
Web development course.
Oh, how many?
Web development full course. 75,538 searches on YouTube every month, and then 40. So those are people. Back end developer, 8,117. Like, those are what we're looking for. Here's one. Web development for beginners, 6,033. So this is beyond just, I want to do a website, right?
Yes.
Now we're finding an avatar.
Yes.
Because we know who we're looking for now. It's not everyone who ever wants to learn how to center a paragraph in HTML. This is a person going down the rabbit hole of web development, right?
Right.
So that's cool, man. So these questions now can guide your search. You need to sign up for vidIQ if you're going to go the YouTube route.
Sure.
And now you can talk about all of these things. Like, what if you did a video that was called web development for beginners, and you just said, hey, there's 4 things you got to do. Of course, you're going to learn HTML, but you need to learn how it interacts with CSS. You need to learn how to use JavaScript. And then you also need to learn how to prepare to find a job and apply for a job. Oh, by the way, I teach you all this over here. That's a YouTube video. I just outlined your first YouTube video on your YouTube channel.
Nice.
You know? So if we can now
like that.
in the community wrestle with this more, we can go down this rabbit hole and we can say, well, what terms here are web developers and people who want to be like, let me type in one more here. Y'all have got me in trouble today on the podcast, guys. I'm geeking out on words. All right. So if I type in freelance web developer, because I think that most people would start in their mind there and not necessarily with a company, but they're going to end up there anyway. You know?
I think it's something they'll probably entertain, especially in today's
environment.
Yep.
Right. All right. So freelance web developer on YouTube alone is searched 20,303 times per month. That exact phrase is those words are typed into the YouTube search engine. Okay. Listen to this one. How to become a freelance web developer. 1,911 searches a month. The competition score, which is out of 100, higher is more competition. The competition score on that keyword is only 19.89. You could rank for that word. Like if you said, if you had a video called how to become a freelance web developer on YouTube, and you could write a description that uses that term and you could say, there are 5 easy steps to becoming a freelance web developer. I'm going to show you today in this video how to become a web freelance, whatever. And you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, which is basically everything that's in your community.
Sure.
And you say, that's it. If you do all those things at the high level, then you're going to be able to become a web developer. If you'd like to learn more, click the link in the description or go to mywebsite.com/awesome-lead-magnet. And that's it. That's how you do it. You just keep making these YouTube videos. So I think we're definitely in the research phase for your next step, right? Mm-hmm. And we start building an audience on YouTube with these search terms. It's all search right now. You know, you got to get found before you can get people on your list.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So let's forget social media, right? You might want to start a Facebook group called How to Become a Freelance Web Developer. And you just start building a Facebook group and people find you because they search for freelance web developer groups, right?
Right.
And then we search in YouTube and we start making videos that are the same thing as these search results.
I like it.
Off to the races. I'm sorry, I went absolutely insane there. That was
no.
That was me being excited about your niche and a full cup of coffee right before the show. All right, so let's circle this back in. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I really like it. I think it gives more focus, and I think one of the reasons you brought me on here is because of a comment I made during our Q&A about how I'm kind of in a funk of not being able to really find myself motivated, putting this together for the last 9 months. And I think that's probably part of the problem. I think what I was doing was seeming too overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And I think what we've done here is really helped me narrow that down.
Yes.
So it doesn't seem as overwhelming, doesn't seem as daunting. It seems a lot more doable and with possible better results.
Yeah. And what happens is people that start out, it's really easy your gift is the coding. Like that's your thing you teach, right? And it's really easy when you don't know what to do next to just make more course content. Like, I don't know what to do next. I better make another football play. That was my biggest challenge, right? Like, I can't get anybody to pay attention to me. Well, I know how to stop the sweep. Like, so, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? So I draw another play and there's my playbook got bigger, but that doesn't help, right? But if you want to get really excited and you really want to narrow it down, go do keyword research, pick one keyword, and that's your next project. Make that YouTube channel and make that video. Forget everything else. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. You just make the video. Like if you're just say, hey, this week I'm going to make a YouTube video, how to become a freelance web developer. You know why? Because 1,911 people are searching for it every month. And if I can get 10 of those people to join my email list and one of them to buy my membership, I'm off to the races. Right? And that's what you got to do. Okay. All right, man. Well, listen, let's wrap this up because I'm going to sit here and do keyword research with you for 4 hours if I don't. Right. But listen, Tim, I'm really glad you came on the show today. I think this was an awesome discussion. I really appreciate your vulnerability and your transparency because, man, there's a lot of people out there that have been spinning their wheels for a few months making course content, figuring things out, and lost in their own quagmire of their own genius. And it's just one layer back, man. Now we all know, hey, all I got to figure out is what I want. All I got to figure out is who I serve. All I got to do is put that in a product. And then I just have to figure out where they're looking for this information. And we got it. Now we just got to build it. Okay?
Right. I agree. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. I really do.
All right, man. We'll stop right there. That's good. That's where we'll edit out. But hey, man, we did some work. We put in work today, Tim.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We did, man. This is high level, baby. All right, guys, that wraps up my conversation with Tim Madison about his online business. Man, what an amazing amount of work we did today. I mean, that was an intense one-on-one coaching session, and I know that you can have a lot of value about that too. Listen, all you have to do is figure out what you want your business to look like, and then define who your avatar is, who are you serving, and then figure out what you need to put in your product. If you can figure out those three things, you can start, build, and grow a successful online business, online membership of your own as well. And we help you do all of those things inside of the Flip Your Life community. We have courses to help you get clear on your goals and really define what you want your membership site to look like. We've got courses that help you define your avatar, figure out exactly who it is that you're going to serve. And of course, we have courses to help you build that product so that you can make sure you're getting people the results that will help them pay month after month and year after year inside your membership site. We would love to help you just like I helped Tim today inside of the Flip Your Life community. Head over to flippedlifestyle.com/free and you can get a 30-day trial. New members get a 30-day free trial inside of the community. Heck, you could go in and watch that course to get clear on your goals. You could go watch that course to define your avatar, and you could go watch that course to help you outline and start working on that product in the next 30 days, and then you are off to the races. That's flippedlifestyle.com/free to start your 30-day trial today. All right, guys, that is all the time we have today. Before we close the show, we like to end every Flip Lifestyle podcast with a Bible verse. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation in business and in life from the Bible, and I am super excited because our guest today, Tim, has a Bible verse he'd like to share with y'all.
Yes, thank you. It would be Hebrews 11:1, which is, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen," and that's the King James Version. And the reason this scripture means something to me, and especially means something to me in the context of what we're talking about, is the evidence of things not seen. That's your imagination. That's, if you can see it in your head, other people can't see it. It's your dream. If you can see it in your head, the faith is this. It's going to happen. This is the evidence of things not seen yet. What you're hoping for. So I can see the business in my head. I can see what I need to do to really make this successful and give my wife and I a better life. And now it's just moving forward with that and trusting God.
What an amazing Bible verse that Tim shared with us today. That's really what it is, guys, when you're going after your online dream. It's that hope for a better future for your family. It's that hope that you can take total control of your time, total control of your finances, total control of your life. And it's looking for that evidence of that hope, right? That unseen thing, that evidence. And the evidence is all around you. Me and Jocelyn, we are evidence of what's possible if you go after that dream, if you turn your hope into action. The hundreds and hundreds of people inside of the Flip Your Life community, like Tim, like all of our guests that we bring to you every single show, that's evidence of what is happening out in the online marketplace. And you know what? With the world as uncertain as it is, the economy as crazy as it is, the real hope for you and for your family is that side hustle, is that online business that replaces your income and helps you become and stay self-employed, that online business that lets you take total control of your life. If we can help you in any way do that, we are here for you. We're going to keep bringing you this podcast. We're in the Flip Your Life community, and that is our mission in life, is to help you succeed. So thanks again for listening this week. I hope you learned something today. Until next time, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.
I just found you a domain name.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Sure.
I cannot believe this is available. It's a 3-word domain, so it's not perfect, but like what are you really, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get people a career as a web developer.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because webdevelopercareer.com is available for $8.88.
No kidding.
Yeah, man. WDC. You know what I mean? Like web developer career. Did I spell this right? WEB web DEVELOPER developer career CAREER, right?
Yeah,
Web developer.
Yeah.
Yeah, webdevelopercareer.com for $8.88 is available. That
Nice.
tells them what you're doing.
Yeah.
It explains it. You can call your stuff whatever you want it. You can call it the membership and everything. But like if someone types in, like, I bet that gets searched for. I wonder if that gets searched for. Let's see if that gets searched for. Hold on. Web developer career. Well, yeah, like web development gets searched for like 400,000 times. And like web developer career path gets searched for. Web developer career has been searched for, but the data is not complete. So I don't know what's going on there. But like career in web development, like that's a word. You need to go buy that domain right now. Web designer career is another good word, right? But yeah, I think web developer career would be a pretty solid domain name. You know, go to web developer career. I wonder if web design career. It's not really web design. Is that what you're talking about though?
No, it's not web design. It's web developer.
Yeah.
So
That's
there is a
and
difference. Yeah.
That's available too, though. For
I do own the domain name, thewebdeveloperlife.com. And I thought about using that.
That one's 4 words, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought about using it for podcasts, maybe.
Yeah, the Web Developer Life. That'd be a great name for a podcast.
Webdeveloperlife.com, where I'm actually talking about being a web developer and maybe talking to other web developers that can help.
That'd be a good name for a podcast.
Yeah,
and everything could live at webdevelopercareer.com. Hey man, I'm here. You know what? What do you do? Oh, I help people have a web development career. Oh, that's your website. That's cool, right? Like, just it makes sense. So anyway, there's your point in the right direction, man.
I love that.
One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcast. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.